Wow. Oh wow, where to even begin with the Final Fantasy VII Remake review? I guess I'll start by saying this is a midway review. I've really just felt the hankering urge to start talking about it, even though I'm at chapter 9. So specifically, I'm up to Wall Market / the Hell House scene. So there's going to be a few spoilers, only for anything leading up till that point. Nothing with the cross-dressing scene or after. And I mean, even that Hell House scene, God, what a crazy high energy epic experience that was. I am so in love with this experience so far. I really do find as I'm playing it, it's proving itself to be one of the most wholesome and yet at the same time surreal experiences I've had. You know, it's no lie to say, and most of you know, I am a huge Final Fantasy VII fan to a point and degree that most people would look at and be like, whoa dude, it's only a game. But you know, I followed this and I've seen Final Fantasy VII in so many different mediums, be it, you know, an anime or a movie like Advent Children, or even a first-person shooter like Dirge of Cerberus. We've seen the universe expanded, we've seen it touch on, you know, little bits and pieces, but this is so far feeling, especially with even the really cool universe hints that they've put in, like other Cell members of Avalanche, or references to, say, Deep Ground from, again, Dirge, or even going forward. The whole thing with Jessie constantly mentioning about the bomb being way larger than she thought. That goes all the way to like Maiden, who travels through the planet where Aerith goes in and, you know, tries to help them move past something that they saw as their fault. So much in there that is retelling a story that is feeling really new and very different, and at times pretty damn freaky. The psycho elements that are going on with Cloud, with his premonitions, his flashbacks, and Sephiroth appearing, you know, over the failed clones, or just appearing because Nomura, I guess. It really has been, from a storytelling aspect, a really thrilling experience, and just the number of cutscenes and expressiveness that is going into this game. So Cloud, for example, they are nailing that boy. I am loving this rendition of Cloud. He's still got all of his arseholey, somber, emo-ish kind of traits that we know with Cloud, and it is really cool seeing new people play and be like, what is this protagonist about? Cloud is a strange one to put your finger on. Does this guy give a flying fuck about anyone? And yet at the same time, I've also seen friends come back to me and say, wow, that little way he looked at her, or the little way he said that. No, these little traits that you can see in Cloud, the hero starting to emerge through him. We're already getting very cool yet oh so subtly done hints of that. The way he looks at Aerith, or the way he agrees to, again, a crappy fetch quest, like some kids sending us off all the way into the freaking slums to fight some Tomberry King, which wasn't actually a Tomberry. Was it a Tomberry King? Jeez, I can't remember. It was a something king. I mean that just goes to show how unsubstantive those quests are. I can't remember what it was, but even that, like the way Cloud, you know, put his price down to 3 gil, or Cloud jumping across a ravine to help, you know, a couple of kids, or even offering to take Aerith back, escort her back to her home. And he kind of really doesn't want to see her go. It's also beautifully and artfully done in an engine. Again, I don't feel like I need to say this because I've said it a million times, and I think it speaks for itself. Just how beautiful this game looks. Not even just like when you get the cutscene close-ups of like the faces, where you can see skin pigmentation detail, like little flecks of like orange and freckles in Cloud's face, compared to, say, the usual fresh face white palette, or the movements, or the outfits, or the environmental details, or the spell effects, which are just nuts. But even just the way the scenes are composed, like the cutscenes, the way that, I don't know, Roche will come flying through the air with his bike behind a pillar of flames, and they'll slow it down at just that moment, or the way the team turns, and you just get these money shots, these, I'm gonna load that up, that's gonna be my PC desktop image. There's so many of those littered throughout, and you really catch them, and it just gives you this sense of awe and just, yeah. And the next category I like to bring forward for this review is absolutely going to be music. Music is slaying it in this game, and I've got to say there was a concern for me going into this, especially based on the old tracks that we were hearing sort of before the remake came out, a lot of the new ones or the very high energy ones, and a lot of it was very I was going to say overcomposed. I was worried that this was going to be very overcomposed, that they were going to take those themes and songs and just blow them up in orchestral melodies, and it would kind of lose its nostalgic simplicity that the game had. But to now be in the game and see that multiple themes are getting multiple renditions, the simplistically composed ones are still in there, they're still recognizable, the music's telling a story all by itself. And for anyone who has played the original game, I'm sure you can completely understand this. There's something in the music of Final Fantasy VII that if you played it, during the original's release, it's like the music is coding to your feels. It's like it's coded somewhere subconscious or subliminal. It's like the tunes alone are unlocking something deep within my Final Fantasy VII fanboy DNA that is just really adding to this experience in a way that, frankly, most of the time I'm on stream, I'm either kind of just a bit awestruck, lost for words, overhyping like a nutter, or I'm just getting teary and a bit lumpy in the throat and try not to show it. It's really shaping up to be a phenomenal experience. Now, I don't know anything, again, beyond this point. I've heard things about the ending, and please, no spoilers down below. I've asked in my streams, and I've seen hints of it enough that Square Enix have gone crazy with the ending. That it's a controversial ending. I don't know about Metacritic scores or any review scores online. I kind of know a little bit about sales, but from what I've seen so far, the reception is shaping up to be really nice. And just the relief I feel for that. The relief I feel, especially after something like FF15, which was exceptionally Marmite, especially after waiting since 2015 to get to this point of release. The Final Fantasy franchise has been in a bit of a turmoil, so if this game is doing as well as I think it's doing, oh man, I can't tell you how happy that makes me. But yeah, I know there's something crazy at the end. I'm just saying, basically, I know there's something out there. What the freaking hell have you done, Nomura? Moving on to combat system, and this is something I never really talk about. I'm such a story junkie and a feels junkie. I could sit and talk about the characterizations all day. Barrett, specifically, I'm loving Barrett. This is a great Barrett. Back in the day, it was like, why the hell are these Avalanche members following just this angry, over-the-top dude? Why are they following him? But in this remake, they've really brought through a new version of Barrett. His speeches are... shit me, I'm inspired. They've actually shown why these people are following Barrett, why he is the leader, why he is so passionate, and even just little things like the references to Marlene's book. I love this. Barrett keeps coming out with these lines and these phrases, in like this philosophical way, and then Tifa's be like, oh, that's from Marlene's book. And just to think that this big, gruff, coal mining dude, who's adopted this daughter, is like sitting there at night time and reading her books, and he's learning stuff from it and then citing it back in the game. There's such like an endearing, soft quality of Barrett, and that soft side definitely exists. And I really didn't think we'd even be seeing that right now, because it kind of doesn't exist, pre-leaving Midgar with Barrett. So even some of the characters' developments have almost started like leapfrogging and coming in sooner, and they're starting to become more and well-rounded, and it's all really nice to see. But it goes back to the fear that I expressed in a video before the game came out, and it is, where the hell are we going to be going from here? Now that Sephiroth is getting involved as much as he is, again, we've seen such a majority of the calm flashback at this point, and we're starting to see characterizations and the development arcs moving forward a bit. So it does feel like a fully rounded experience within the first game. What's going to be happening with the second and third? And that concern that I've had, that have they gone so far with the first part, like let's make Midgar so big and so epic and so self-contained that the other parts are going to suffer because of it? Are they really going to be able to do at the pace and the quality of development, the sheer quality that is going into just Midgar? Is that going to be maintainable for all the other locations, all the other scenes, all the other characters over what, 1 or 2 parts? I mean, any more, is it getting dragged out too much? And then, now how are these characters going to evolve over those episodes? I can really see the natural flow and evolution of the OG FF7 story as we've known it really get disrupted over the course of this. And of course, it was always going to be disrupted. So I really hope Square Enix have a plan for that, and that they get that right, and that they haven't just poured all the eggs into the Midgar basket. But combat system, again, is another one. How the hell is that going to evolve from here on out? But talk about combat system, my review of that so far. I love this combat system. Type 0 junkie, always loved it. Quick switch functionality amongst teammates where you can queue up attacks, get tactical, work in that traditional 3-person format. And what I can gladly say is they finally crushed it. They have actually finally solved, in my mind at least anyway, everyone will agree, they finally solved the problem that Final Fantasy was having, which was balancing its old classic ATB turn-based strategic tactical elements with something that's going to appeal to today's audiences, something that is action combat and fast paced, and they really have found that middle ground. I was utterly convinced that it would be possible that the ATB gauge and all the tactical elements, the combat materials, or certainly the status ones, I don't know, like the barriers and all the different tactical materials that you can use, that they could be wholly disregarded and ignored, that you could kind of just stay on cloud and you could wail away all day, every day, and sort of get away with it. I can gladly say, especially after Hell House, that is not the case. They have really put a lot of work and focus and thought into programming mobs that are going to test multiple different aspects of our understanding of the combat. Utilize the different areas involved. Aerith was very strong on the Hell House and the way, and this is something that, because I'm on stream and I'm so hyped and I'm so distracted, I've been really bad at picking up, like even the assessing and getting the specifics of the stagger breakdown, like the very specific stagger conditions that you need to meet to get that fight down. Combining that with how crazy some of these fights gets, like even 3 mobs, I can't remember what quest it was, got sent to fight some Shinra robots that had gone AWOL, and there's only like 3 of them, but they're constant, man. Like they're drilling in, you've got a shot coming over from there, and the combat gets so chaotic at times, and there's so much going on. You have no choice but to drop into that tactical mode, step back, slow it down, think about what you're going to do next, plan your strategy, and then go for it. And that really backs up what Square Enix said about this combat system, was that they've taken a lot of the heavy lifting elements of the action combat side, specifically so that we could do that, so that we could focus on that side of the combat system. And just more and more, I'm learning about that as these multi-segmented boss fights, each with different cutscenes and phases, are just coming in with great music and over-the-top spell effects and regional destruction going down as Cloud is flipping and whooping and yes. I'm also really impressed, even though I've seen some people say that they've felt the combat system has been slow to start with. I've really not found that to be the case. There is a lot of variety, and it very quickly unlocks of the number of limit breaks or ATB gauge attacks or magics and combination things you can use. Like, there is a really wide range of stuff that you can utilize in this system that, yeah, I mean, I suppose some people might find it slow. We live in an age now with something like, I don't know, DMC 5, which gives you a bollock load straight off the bat. It really opens up immediately. Like, there are those kind of games, but if you compare this anything to what original turn-based ATB combat was, attack and fire was all you had for quite a substantial time, with the occasional limit break thrown in. There is a lot to work with. And yeah, I've just loved it. Now, one other thing I'd like to bring up in this review, just because I think it really deserves a mention, is the work that the lighting team, the lighting director, the engine that they've used, Enlighten, which is a not too commonly used lighting engine. I feel like that deserves a shout out to itself, because this game has incredible lighting effects, even from the way you open the door as you leave Cloud's apartment to the slums. You just get that sun catch at the right way, and you see it just interacting in real time with the environment as you move, even during the scenes, the way it's lighting up Midgar in really well thought out, creative, ingenuitive ways. Because it would have been so easy for this game to have been really sort of drab and dreary It's almost like a Bloodborne game, kind of. We're in Midgar, the whole place is, we're even walking through slums where it's just nothing but scraps and waste. It's just all been like a very metallic, grey, bland, dull aesthetic, and it's somehow still kept its mid-greenness, but has gone all the way to the opposite side. Of course, I've just come from Wall Market, and that place is lit up like a mofo. The neon lights, again, I've recently gone to Southeast Asia compared to Thailand. It felt like I was back in Thailand, and then mixed in with aspects of Japan. Really bright, really beautiful, and that's where my final part, and probably my most rated, weirdly enough. This is what I most rate about Final Fantasy VII Remake, and it's actually going to be the NPCs. Before this game came out, Nomura said, I think it might be Katasa, I can't remember which, that they'd really put a lot of effort into making the different sectors of Midgar feel like their own sort of culture, their own community, something that you would get a really strong sense of how the people interact and live their day-to-day lives. Oh my god. Really, really, that is so the case. The NPCs in this game, well, again, a criticism I have is they can get quite annoying. Sometimes you have Scarlet on the monitor and there'll be NPCs waffling in your freaking ear and the sounds all overlapping. It's like, whoa, it's getting crazy. But I suppose that's what a real town would feel like. It would get very jumbled and cluttered with a number of people talking, but I've just enjoyed walking around for hours. Literal hours just listening to NPCs interact, make jokes, references to things. So, some stuff that is deep and quite poignant and profound, and then some that are just pure jokes. The humour in this game is excellent. It really is. I've had so many laughs going through this title, and again, some of them just from NPCs by the side of the road. But I get it. I get a feel of what Sector 7 is like. People getting by kind of aspect in any way that they can. You've got people on the street, selling their tut and and the different commerce, and then you've got people like working out in the streets, and it's kind of every man for themselves. But at the same time, there is like a strong community sense, like the neighbourhood watch that Biggs and Wedge are a part of, and then that sort of extends over to Sector 5, where you've got sort of more social care elements going on. So you've got like the old people's house, and you've got the orphanage, and then you go over to Sector 5 and it's goons and lewds and turning into back alleys with very dangerous, dodgy looking people puking or shitting their guts up or whatever it may be. That's what this remake has done for me. It's brought the imagination to life in a real, active, visceral, oh my god, I'm walking through it, it's happening, this is really what it was in my imagination. Like, there is a lot of alignment between how I imagined a Final Fantasy VII Remake be and what I'm seeing. A lot of alignment. Again, not all alignment, there's stuff that's going above and beyond, and of course there's certain ways I imagine characters that aren't the way that they actually kind of are. Scarlet, weirdly, very specifically one. I always thought she was like a skanky kind of hideous wench who was trying to look good. Nah, she just look good. She just look good. She is artificial as fuck for sure. But of course, I'd be remiss if I did not mention her, because holy hell, is she coming on strong? Wow, the Jessie stuff. Oh, the Jessie stuff is. I said this on my stream once. It's gonna sound really crazy sad. I used to be such a Jessie fan fiction writer kind of person. Like, I wrote entire stories of Final Fantasy VII. Like, sometimes took me up to 6 months to write. I think it was about 6 months writing it. Of a version where Jessie was there throughout the entirety of the game, and I hooked her up with Cloud because that was a ship in my mind back when I was wee and young, and I can honestly say some of the scenes I wrote about are almost appearing in the game, almost like for like. Jessie almost feels like a fan fiction element thrust in, and while it does come across as pretty strong, like she's coming on real strong. I know that some people are gonna be liking it. I'm loving that. Like, Jessie is just winning my heart. She is such a good counterpart to Cloud's personality, and in fact all the women are in different ways, all the characters are in different ways, and that's really what I loved about Final Fantasy VII. And one of the recent videos I did is Cloud goes through this development hero arc, but he doesn't go through it just because of Sephiroth or just because of the hardships or just because of the circumstances. It's the people, the teammates all teach him different things, and you can see very strongly, very clearly the effects that Tifa have, you know, on him. Now, for example, Tifa, what was the saying? Rule number 1. Oh God, what was rule number 1 that they spoke about? Oh God, I can't even remember. Like, so much has happened in this game that even recalling Ultra Mind it's just all mashing together. I can't remember what it was, but yeah, Tifa said about rule number 1, and then you see like Cloud quote it back later, and then you actually see him start acting on that thing, or like the way that Aerith is having an effect, or the way that Jesse counters his personality very early on. Like, he tries to be stubborn and dismissive and offhandish, and she just cuts straight through it. I see you're trying to be that way, and I enjoy it, actively enjoy it, and I'm going to play with it. And then, for example, Jesse, Biggs, and Wedge will then have like these jokesy moments of camaraderie, and Cloud will overlook it, and it'll make him smile. And next we go to Tifa, and she says, something's changed about you, and you can see that effect that it's had. And when I look at all those aspects, and especially with Jessie, I love that she's that forthcoming and upfront. There is nothing wrong with a woman going after what she wants, and she wants Cloud's balls. What I can see so far from the midway part that I'm up to is that a ton of love and thought and care has really been put into this remake. I am so glad to be streaming this game. I am absolutely loving the atmosphere. I can see that so many of you are also having a similar experience to me, a slightly overwhelmed and at the same time just feeling very fulfilled by the experience. And again, while I can nitpick aspects of the game, I'd be lying if I say I wasn't really just nitpicking to just try to be objectively focused on the game, because frankly, I always knew this was the case. My objectivity is very much out the window. It has a Final Fantasy VII skin on. I'm seeing Tifa's, I'm seeing Aerith, something that is instantly recognizable and identifiable, and indeed something that, as I followed it over these years, I've built up a construct myself. Now, that's perhaps the only place that the remake is never going to be able to match when it comes to what the original did, and it's the stimulating of our imagination. Everything is so much on show and handed us on a plate, and the narrative is very direct and very clearly given. One of the things that solidified that for me is I remember the trailer when Cloud jumps on the train and when the soldiers sort of like reach forward. I remember seeing that an old day, and I was looking at the way the guy's mouth moved and the way his body gestured. I was like, that makes it seem like he recognizes Cloud or the Buster Sword or something. And people are like, you're overthinking it, mate. That's just like it's just like a whatever movement. It doesn't mean that. And now to actually play it, and the guy did recognize, again, either Cloud or the Buster Sword, which it was. I got that just from the subtle movements of a mouth and a hand gesture. And I wasn't overthinking it. That is just the level of detail that is being portrayed in this game. That's not so much as like the original stimulating our own imagination, but it is stimulating the way we pick up and read things, like the way we read body language. It's like this whole other domain that's kind of replaced the blunt imagination. And that's why at this midway review point, which I'm going to finish off, if I had to give it a score, and as much as I would want to give it a 10 out of 10 because it really has. It's felt like a 10 out of 10 experience. It's the level of fun I've had with it. It's not even fun. It's like a whole mix of other words that I can't really even compute. It has felt like a 10 out of 10 experience. But if I had to really say, I'm going to go bigger by giving it a 9 out of 10 so far, because there are certain areas that are cause for concern, a little bit lackluster, a little bit boring, or a little bit could be done better. Again, I'm really going to push questing as one of those things, as well as kind of structure. I have concerns about the structure as it will be going forward, but as it is so far in what I've experienced, yeah, man, that's it. That's what I'm going to give it. But there we go. It is about time that I actually hop on stream, and I'm going to be doing the cross-dressing scene and meeting Don Corneo at this point. And again, the fact that every time before I'm about to start a stream, I just get this huge rise of hype and excitement and anticipation to do it. That speaks for itself. That's all I really need to say on this review, is that every day I'm playing this, it's making me feel fucking epic day to day. No other way to say it. It's truly been a remarkable experience so far, and Square Enix have done a lot of remarkable stuff. Let me know what you guys are thinking so far, provided you don't spoil anything again past the wall market scene. Let me know down below. One of the only places I'm gonna get to interact and express and share and talk about some 7 Remake hype, because the rest of the internet is off limits. People are finishing it, shit's going crazy. Take it easy, and for anyone who doesn't know, I'm streaming FS7 Remake on this channel here, Final Fantasy Peasants, around about 3 PM British Summer Time every day. Love to see you there. Thanks for everyone who has been joining me, all of the Schmeck Doodles, which people have been going nuts with it, and it is so wholly appreciated. You really are opening up a lot of opportunities for me, guys, on this channel, what I can do going forward. And again, what I like to end off on, and it's something that really made me teary when I originally when I played the remake, I got to Sector 7 and everyone was just like dropping all of these tips and this generosity to me, is it really brought back that feeling of a full complete circle for me personally. Because when I first got Final Fantasy 7, it had been a horrible childhood, it had been a horrible time, I'd never played a video game, I'd got moved away from my parents to go live with my nan, I was in a new school, hated everything, I was really in not a good place at that age, and it was the generosity of just a complete stranger I'd never met who gave me Final Fantasy 7. It was this game that changed my life, and that's why to review this game is a really surreal, difficult thing, especially if I want to be objectively critical, because it really was the game that changed and saved my childhood in a whole load of ways I can't fully express here. And again, it was when the 7 Remake got announced that I first put my video on YouTube, and you guys caught that and you felt my enthusiasm and you shared it back, and now you've allowed me to do this career. And again, even now the remake is out, you guys are opening so many opportunities for me, and that's why Final Fantasy 7 Remake is just this reoccurring friend in my life, that when I've really needed it, it's come back. That is a really rare, precious, treasured thing. It's just something that I treasure, and I want to thank all of you guys from the bottom of my heart. So thank you so much, guys. Let's finish this freaking game. Thank you. Go out.